The story follows a boy named Gabimaru who is on the brink of execution. As the executioner attempts to behead him, the sword unexpectedly shatters upon striking his neck, astonishing the witnesses. Returning to his prison cell, it's revealed that Gabimaru was trained as a shinobi from his childhood, granting him a superhuman physique. A woman named Sagiri documents the incident, acknowledging that breaking a blade with his flesh is a skill of a shinobi. Gabimaru confirms this, dismissing the executioner's poor swordsmanship. The next day, the Lord orders Gabimaru's burning at the stake. Even though his body is engulfed in flames, he remains alive, gazing defiantly at his captors through the fire. The Lord becomes increasingly frustrated as Gabimaru is returned to his cell. He admits to not resisting and expressing a desire for death. Sagiri, responsible for recording events, discusses Gabimaru's past with him. He shares that he doesn't know his parents, but heard they were killed by the village chief when he was an infant. He claims that shinobi exists solely to fulfill orders, lacking personal dreams. It's revealed that Gabimaru's comrades betrayed him when he attempted to leave the village, suspecting the village chief's involvement due to the village's strict no-escape policy. Ordered by the Lord, men attempt to tear Gabimaru apart using bulls by attaching them to his legs, but he easily subdues them, demonstrating his exceptional strength and further frustrating the Lord. Sagiri questions why he wanted to leave the village, prompting Gabimaru to recount his past. He explained that he had gained recognition from the chief by marrying his daughter, but was afraid he would lose his edge as a shinobi due to her naivety, and decided to leave. An observer warns Sagiri about Gabimaru's violent history, having killed 20 people before his capture. He also reminds Sagiri of Gabimaru's other name, Gabimaru the Hollow, a name given to him due to his reputation of being empty. This prompts Sagiri to ponder why such a hollow man fought so ferociously. The observer then goes on to explain the rumors that surround the shinobi from Gabimaru's village, stating that the shinobi there take a drink known as the Elixir of Life, a legendary medicine of immortality. In his prison cell, Gabimaru reflects on his past resistance against execution attempts, despite stating to Sagiri that he wasn't resisting. He resolves to end his life during the upcoming execution by not resisting and faces being boiled in hot oil. Despite enduring the ordeal, he remains alive, questioning his inability to die. Sagiri informs the Lord of Arrangements, leading to a surprising turn. Gabimaru is taken through a tunnel, encountering Sagiri, who is a skilled sword tester and executioner from the Yamada clan. The Lord believes she can finally behead him. Gabimaru envisions Sagiri beheading him, so he breaks free from his restraints and avoids her initial strike. Sagiri explains that thanks to her profession, she's seen death over and over and has learned how people feel during their final moments, stating that one's true self is reflected in the blade. The battle unfolds as Sagiri accuses Gabimaru of lying about his feelings, suggesting he still loves his wife. Gabimaru then reflects on his joyous memories with his wife that softened him. Realizing that Sagiri is indeed a formidable opponent, he uses a sword to defend himself. A flashback reveals that his wife, with a disfigured face due to the chief's cruelty, saw the kindness in him that others didn't. She was part of a society where men were soldiers and women were meant for childbearing. In the flashback, Gabimaru tells the chief he wants to stop being a shinobi and live a quiet life with his wife, revealing the real reason why he got betrayed. Back in the present, Gabimaru fights fiercely, and Sagiri struggles to block his onslaught. He believes he can never live as a human, but Sagiri disagrees, showing him a pardon that signifies he can be spared execution and be provided with the shogun's protection. This revelation leaves Gabimaru stunned, suggesting a potential shift in his fate and a chance to redefine his purpose beyond being a shinobi. Sagiri goes on to explain that the pardon would dismiss Gabimaru of all his crimes and grant him the shogun's protection under one condition. The condition being that Gabimaru will visit the underworld. This confuses Gabimaru, so Sagiri continues by explaining that there is a beautiful land called Shinsenkyo. This expedition is aimed at retrieving the Elixir of Life from the newly discovered land. Sagiri tells Gabimaru about the elixir's potential to grant immortality, prompting the shogun to send a search party to retrieve it. However, when the search party returns, they find a body amongst beautiful flowers on a boat they sent the party on. She then goes on to explain that 5 more parties were sent to this mysterious land, and not a single soul returned alive. As a result, the shogun has decided to send criminals on this perilous expedition to obtain the elixir in exchange for their pardon if successful. Sagiri reveals that she is seeking candidates for this expedition and sees Gabimaru as a suitable choice. She also tells Gabimaru that she has learned his wife has shut herself away and has not said a single word since he was captured, waiting patiently for his potential return one day. However, the Lord who wants Gabimaru dead orders his men to attack him. Using his ninjutsu, Gabimaru defeats the guards, showing but a glimpse of his true strength. He then agrees to join the expedition with the intention to reunite with his wife once more. The narrative then shows a flashback that reveals Sagiri's past and her aspiration to perfect her execution technique, driven by the memory of her father's flawless execution style. During the flashback, however, we see that Sagiri envisions the people she killed haunting her. A man named Aizen observes that there is doubt and fear in her swordsmanship which makes people die painful deaths. He tells Sagiri to look at the reflection on her sword as he states that the truth is reflected in the blade. Back in the present, Sagiri puts a blindfold on Gabimaru, where they attend a meeting where the shogun addresses the criminals and the potential rewards of the expedition are revealed. The atmosphere shifts as the criminals realize they could earn their freedom. The island, Shinsenkyo, is described, but skepticism arises among the criminals as they are introduced to a man who survived the previous expedition. He returned with strange growths on his body and has lost all sense of being. Despite doubts, the criminals are warned that they have no other option since they are already sentenced to death. An official explains that samurai from the Yamada clan will act as monitors while accompanying them to ensure their compliance, and if a criminal's monitor were to die for whatever reason, they will be executed. The shogun then whispers to the official requesting that the number of criminals need to be reduced due to the ship's capacity being extremely limited. This prompts a culling of their numbers, leading to violence amongst the criminals. Among the criminals, Gabimaru is noted as having exceptional skills, while Sagiri faces challenges from her past and doubts about her abilities. Gabimaru remains passive amid the chaos, while Aizen questions Sagiri's suitability for her role. However, Sagiri proves her combat prowess when attacked by some of the criminals. She is haunted by the spirits of her victims as the scene cuts to Gabimaru reminding the shogun and his officials that killing is never justified as he questions the method used to decide on who goes on the expedition. However, an official tries to silence him by ordering a criminal to attack him. Gabimaru deftly evades the assault, but he realizes that he may have to resort to violence for self-preservation. As Gabimaru attempts to reason with the criminal, he is met with resistance, forcing him to use deadly force. He dispatches the criminals with remarkable brutality, even unsettling the shogun present. Meanwhile, Sagiri reflects on her fears and doubts, realizing that she must accept the burdens of her past actions rather than attempting to eliminate them. The officials intervene and inform the criminals that the remaining survivors will be participating in the expedition. It is revealed that the remaining criminals possess exceptional skills. The group boards a ship to the expedition's destination, and as they approach the island, Gabimaru recalls an incident from his childhood involving a seemingly immortal village chief being pierced by multiple blades. It was apparently due to a strange medicine the chief acquired from a land across the sea that made him immortal. Upon reaching the island, Gabimaru shares with Sagiri his belief that the Elixir of Life exists, although its exact location remains uncertain. The two begin exploring the island, with Gabimaru expressing cautious skepticism about its beauty. Gabimaru breaks his restraints and Sagiri tells him that this is forbidden and insists that he rebinds his hands. Gabimaru then tells Sagiri to let it slide, explaining how they were only given food that will last 3 days, and a strange drawing as their only clue. However, Sagiri threatens to kill Gabimaru, telling him to bind his hands as she explains she is not his friend, and her role is his executioner. Due to this threat, Gabimaru reluctantly complies as he lets Sagiri tie his hands. While Sagiri is tying Gabimaru's hands, however, out of nowhere he suddenly gets hit by a giant steel ball, blowing him away. The ball returns to a criminal named Keyun, who thinks he just got rid of his first target, but Gabimaru gets back up, cracking his neck, seemingly unfazed while stating that the attack surprised him. Sagiri was shocked that the attack didn't kill Gabimaru as he reassured her that he's fine. Sagiri explains Keyun is a warrior monk who steals the weapons of the warriors he has killed, as Gabimaru points out that Keyun's hands aren't restrained, so Sagiri questions Keyun's executioner Kisho about this. Kisho says they can just tie their hands on the way back, telling Sagiri she's the lowest ranked executioner because she's too rigid. Keyun displays his other weapons, expressing his deep desire to test them out on Gabimaru. Gabimaru explains, however, that he doesn't want to waste time fighting, pointing out that the others will get ahead of them, but Keyun says that since they have limited clues on the location of the Elixir of Life, it is better to take out the other criminals so he can take his time to look for the elixir. Gabimaru realizes he has no choice but to fight Kiyun. Kiyun charges at Gabimaru. As he does this, Sagiri still insists that Gabimaru binds his hands. Kiyun smashes his head with a mace, but it shatters, so he brings out various other weapons to attack Gabimaru with. Despite the assault, Gabimaru manages to endure and counter Kiyun's attacks. Eventually, he defeats Kiyun by turning the monk's own weapons against him. Kisho beheads Kiyun and begins to head back to the ship. Gabimaru wonders if he wants to fight, but Kisho replies by stating he's just doing his job and doesn't take any sides, even considering himself lucky for getting out so quickly, reminding Sagiri she will be spending time with a dangerous criminal. Kisho tells them about how the other criminals are breaking the rules, and he predicts they will continue to kill each other until there is only one left standing. Kisho continues to explain that more criminals will be added since they are expendable, revealing that they are recruiting people from Gabimaru's village. Sagiri starts to wonder about Gabimaru's true character, and at that moment Gabimaru suddenly attacks her, but she manages to block his attack and pushes him back. The scene then cuts to a flashback as Gabimaru recalls when the chief killed his parents. The reason why they were killed was because they wanted to leave the village, and it was then where the chief taught Gabimaru that all emotions make a person weak, and that he won't be able to protect anything unless he is strong. In the present, Gabimaru exchanges blows with Sagiri as she informs him that killing her is against the rules. But Gabimaru says he needs to find the elixir before the other shinobis from his village arrive, seeing her as a hindrance. He continues to attack Sagiri, who thinks he should be executed immediately, but she finds herself hesitating, and we learn that Gabimaru has the same problem. Not knowing why he can't bring himself to kill her, Gabimaru remembers how his wife told him to follow his emotions, and we learn that he has been experiencing emotions since he met his wife, which got in the way during his missions. Gabimaru sees an opening, but he stops as he is about to deal the finishing blow, so he gets pushed back. He sees this as a weakness, thinking he won't be able to survive if he can't bring himself to defeat Sagiri, so he continues his assault as he thinks about the chief's advice. This seems to bring Gabimaru back to his old hollow self as he breaks Sagiri's sword. He then attempts to cut her down, but she uses her sheath to defend herself. Gabimaru eventually comes up on top, ready to deal the finishing blow, but he struggles to finish her off, admitting he still has emotions left. As the memory of his wife lingers in his mind, he starts crying, thinking he has become weak. Sagiri tells him it's not weakness but the seed of strength to not flee from his emotions. She decides to overlook his actions, wanting to see him face his emotions head-on and prove that a man like him can reclaim his life back, as she tells him that he is no longer the same person he used to be. Thank you for watching. If you want to see part 2, then leave a comment. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.